This is section 2.4. We're going to be writing equations of lines. The homework for 2.4 is 58 through 78. A little bit of vocabulary. We talked about this a little bit before, but the graph of every linear equation, notice the root word for linear is line, in two variables is a line. So linear equation, you're going to have a line. Standard form, the x and y are on the same side. It equals the constant. Slope-intercept, that's going to be y equals mx plus b. Let's talk about a new form called point-slope form. And point-slope form, y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Some more vocabulary. Parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have negative reciprocal slopes. Okay, in this section, there's going to be, it'd be nice if writing equations was just straightforward. You do this all the time. Unfortunately, you do different things depending on the circumstances. So let's suppose I give you m, which is the slope, and b, and I tell you to write the equation. If you have m and b, you can use y equals mx plus b to write your equation. So you're going to replace your m with 8 and your b with 6. Y equals 8x plus 6. Okay, pretty straightforward. Second example, y equals m, which is 1/2 x, plus a negative 2. Usually we write subtract 2 instead of plus a negative, but it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. All right, so this is writing an equation if I give you a graph. Now again, you're going to use y equals mx plus b, but this time you have to actually find the m, find the b. So remember the b is where it's where the line crosses the y-intercept, or the y-axis. So that's this point right here. That's going to be our b. In this particular case, it crosses the y-axis at -3. And then find the slope. So remember, slope is rise over run. So how many do we go up? How many do we go to the right? We go up 2 to the right 1, so the slope is 2/1. All right, so we knew that b was equal to -3. We knew that m was equal to 2/1, which will reduce to 2. So we know m, we know b. We can write the equation. Now, lastly, write the equation in standard form, if required. A lot of times the question will say, write the standard form of blah, 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 blah. Well, if it says write the standard form, you do that last. Last, last, last. Whenever it says standard form, you do that last after you actually write the equation. So let's look at example 7. Write an equation in standard form. Remember, standard form, you do that last, for the line that is graphed. So in order to graph using y equals mx plus b, you need to know m and you need to know b. B is the point where the line crosses the y-axis, which is this point right here. Be careful here because that is -4. And we need to find the slope, which is m. So rise over run. How many do we go up? We go up 2, and we go to the right 3. So our slope is 2/3. At this point, we can write our equation, 2/3 x minus 4. Now, it says write an equation in standard form. You know that this is not standard form, so we have to actually take this equation and put it in standard form. Well, with standard form, the x's and the y's are on the same side, so I need to take this 2/3 x and put it on the same side as the y by subtracting it. So I have negative 2/3 x plus y is equal to negative 4. Well, there's a little bit more involved with standard form. For one thing, with standard form, we want the x to be positive. Well, right now it's negative. I have negative 2/3 x. To turn a negative into a positive, I have to multiply by negative 1. But I can't just multiply this. I have to multiply everything by negative 1. So if I multiply negative times negative 2/3 x, it becomes a positive 2/3 x. If I multiply a positive y by a negative, I get negative y. And if I multiply a negative 4 by negative 1, it gives me a positive 4. In other words, you have to go through and change each of the signs. Again, you would think, aha, I've got it in standard form. I got my x's and y's on the same side. What's the problem? Well, turns out standard form does not like having fractions. So you got to find the denominator is 3. So you got to multiply everything by 3. So the 3's cancel here, and I have 2x. Multiply the 3 times the y, and the 3 times the 4, and finally, standard form. If you're given a slope and a point on the line, and I say write the equation, you're not going to use y equals mx plus b. Not going to use it because we don't know what b is. If you don't know b, you cannot use y equals mx plus b. So we have to use something else, a different formula. Well, it turns out this is the formula you use to write an equation if you do not know b. If you don't know b, you have to use this form, not y equals mx plus b. So let's suppose I give you the slope, which is m, and I tell you the slope is 4 and the point is 1, negative 5. Now, the directions say write the equation in y equals mx plus b form, but remember that's the end. You do that last. If you do not have b, if I don't say b equals, then you have to use this point slope form. So the formula, point slope form, y minus y sub 1. This y sub 1 is a number, and we get that from the y value, is equal to m, that's the slope, x minus x sub 1. And x sub 1 is also a number, and you get it from the x value. So you replace your y sub 1 with the y value, and you replace your x sub 1 with the x value. And simplify. So subtracting a negative, y plus 5, distribute the 4, 4x minus 4. I said I want the answer in y equals mx plus b form, so you have to get the y by itself, subtract 5, and you get y equals 4x minus 9. On the other hand, if I have the same information, but I want write the equation in the form ax plus by equals c, you do exactly the same thing, exactly the same process. You still start out with point slope form. You still replace your y value, still replace your x value. But you have to put your answer in standard form. So, where were we? Okay, so standard form, I have to get this x value to the other side by subtracting it. So I subtracted 2x from both sides. I get negative 2x plus y equals negative 9. The x has to be positive, so multiply everything by negative 1, which has a result of changing the signs of everything. So it becomes positive 2x minus y is equal to positive 9. All right, so write an equation. The slope is equal to the 2. I did not give you b. You have to use point slope form. So 5 is your x value, 8 is your y value. You're going to replace your x sub 1, you're going to replace your y sub 1. Y minus my y value, which is 8, my m, which is 2, x minus 5, and it says write the equation in y equals mx plus b form. So remember, that's last. We always do that last. Y minus 8, distribute the 2. Don't forget when you distribute, you have to multiply the negative 5. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. Get the y by itself. Y equals 2x minus 2. Same deal. This time I want the answer in standard form. Y minus the y value is equal to m, x minus the x value. Distribute the 4. Okay, now you have to put the answer in standard form. So I need the x over here, and I need the negative 9 over here. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. Subtract the 4x. So negative 4x plus y minus 9 is equal to negative 4. I need the 9 on the other side, so I'm going to add it to both sides. And the x has to be positive, so multiply by negative 1, and you get 4x minus y is equal to negative 5. All right, writing equation of horizontal and vertical lines. Remember, horizontal lines look like y equals a number. Vertical lines, x equals a number. So if I want a vertical line that goes through the point 3, negative 8, vertical line right here. Remember, this is the x-axis, so x equals is opposite. X equals is perpendicular, so this is going to be an x equals, vertical line x equals. So what is my x? Well, my x value for this point is 3. X equals 3. Horizontal line. Horizontal lines are going to be y equals. And what is the y equal to for this point? Negative 7. All right, I'm going to stop here for part 1. I'll pick up here with part 2. And so, yeah, I'll pick up here with part 2.